Hello everyone, today I'd like to talk about a new pet peeve of mine, and it's related to this. This is my Chuck Mangione live at the Hollywood Bowl. Now this is a nice double album that I picked up recently, and it has been pretty much my go-to album if I wanted to listen to records on my turntable. This and maybe a few others that I keep nearby would be my go-to albums. Now, the album itself is great. I think it's one of his best. But my pet peeve is not the album per se, the recording or anything. It has to do with this, and I'll show it to you. So this is the first platter, the first vinyl LP, one of two from that double LP. And if you look closely on here, I don't know if you can see it, but probably see my camera reflection, but let me get out of the way. You can notice that it says 1. Okay, if I flip it, same platter, same LP, okay, same vinyl, you can see it says 4. So on here it says 1 and 4. And then the other LP I have that comes from that double vinyl would be 2 and side 3. And I noticed this ordering for a little bit now. I started collecting records a few years ago. And a lot of the double LPs or multi-LP albums that I was able to get, I noticed this type of ordering. 1, 4, 2, 3. There's one I have that has 3 LPs, and it'll be 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. Those I noticed it before, and I thought maybe it was like mislabeled or something like that. But then again, the songs were correct, so I wouldn't call it mislabeled. It'd probably be mispressed. But coming to this Chuck Mangione album. And again, I've been listening to this from time to time, so frequent. And this ordering is a total annoyance to me. 1 and 4, 2 and 3. So I had to look this up. Why this was doing this, it's deliberate. I had to look this up. And I realized there's this thing called an auto coupling record player. And basically, it's another term for it is stacking, where you stack records, and it would play one record, drop it down, and play the second record. So for something like the Chuck Mangione, you have side 1 and side 4. You prepare side 1, and you stack on top of it side 2 that would be on top. You put it on this mechanism, and it would drop the bottom one first. The first one will drop, which would be side 1. It would play that, okay? And then when that's done, it knows there's like another arm or something that knows there's another record on top, and it would drop that and then play the top of that, the second one it dropped, which would be side 2. And then when that is done, you would go and, in theory, you would flip it, but when you flip it, it would be when you flip it, it would have side 4 on the top and then side 3, so that you just flip it once, you stack it like that, and then when it drops, side 3 would automatically come first, and then side 4. For me, not having that stacker, I would have to, for any double or multi vinyl, I would have to do 1, flip it, 2, I would have to flip it 3 times rather than once. Okay, I see the convenience on that, but if you don't have that stacker, this way of doing 1, 4, 2 and 3, it's total ass for me, at least, because you're doing 1, and then for myself, when I'm done, I don't just kind of put the record anywhere and then take out the second record and put it in. I would have to put it back in its like purple sleeve, and then sometimes I actually put it back into the jacket itself then I got to pull the other one out, do it, and then when that's done, I can flip it, and then when that's done, play it, and then play it, and when it's done, put it back in the paper sleeve, put it back in the jacket, and then have to take the other one out, and then play side 4. So it's instead of just doing one, flip it 2, and then put it in the sleeve permanently into the jacket, and then take out the second album, and then play 3 and 4, and done with it. I got to do these extra steps. And no, I'm not going to just lay my record somewhere. I kind of try to preserve it as best as possible. Don't want to have any scratches or leave it dust. Yeah, you can put it in a paper sleeve. Even then, it's just, what the heck. So, and that's my pet peeve on that. And I've been trying to think, not only think, but research, like, how popular these were, the auto coupling stacking record players. And from what I understand, they were kind of popular, especially in like the mid to late 60s and maybe 70s, when there's quite a bit of releases of like double LPs, albums and things like that. But from a, what you would call amount perspective, like, as opposed to a single player, I don't think it came close to single player sales, right? I think, again, I don't have the numbers. I couldn't find any of the numbers, but my gut feeling is they might have been popular, but popular to a very niche market, like a small amount, that type of thing. But so that's number one. Okay. Number 2, I'm not a fan of the stacking mechanism. I saw a few players shown on YouTube, people having them and demonstrating how they work. And it looks cool, kind of, at first glance, but then when you actually see it working, and sometimes I cringe at when the first record is done playing and then they drop the second one. And I'm like, oof, when it drops, it doesn't look like a smooth, soft drop. It just, okay. And you know how records are. The vinyl itself, they're very fragile in a sense. Man, any scratch, any dents, anything that goes on that record can F up the sound and everything else to it. So, yes, I understand, like the 45s, the smaller records themselves, they have a thicker middle, the top, the label part of it's thicker, so that when you drop them, only the label hits the label and not the actual grooves of the music itself, technically speaking. And then for the normal size LPs, the bigger ones, the regular size, I consider the one I showed you regular size. That's how I'm used to seeing them. I think not just the label, but the edges, the ends of the record itself, they're thicker. They were made thicker so that when one record drops on top of the other, the thing that comes in contact the most are the edge and the center, the label part of it. So the grooves themselves, technically speaking, don't hit or touch the other record, or if they do, they don't make like the strongest contact when it gets like that. So, but either way, when I saw that, I'm like, you do that many times, no matter what, there's something's going to be damaged at the end of the day. And they're unlike CDs where you might be able to do that later on, things like that, as long as you don't deep scratch the surface or anything like that. CDs can last. Vinyl, man, any imperfection to it, especially on a drop like that, and you do it repeatedly, I'm sure these things don't really last. And that's why when I saw it do it a few times, I cringe at that. Because, you're kind of just damaging your vinyl, regardless of the implementation they did at the edge and at the center. They're gonna have to come in contact one way or another. So I wasn't a big fan of that. And third, it doesn't seem like All record companies did this for double vinyl or more. They did the 1 and 4, 2 and 3, and so forth. Like this other album I have that I like, the Dave Mason, right, Certified Live, recommended as well. This is also a double LP, but here we got here is just typical. The first LP, it's side 1, and then on the back is side 2. It's just like normal. And then the second one, side 3, side 4. I think my Rolling Stones Hot Rocks, same thing. So not all record labels, when they press albums, they're doing it 1, 4, 2, 3. I call it inconsistent, but maybe they have the purpose for that. Now, I wish at the time, like if this was being sold, they would also label it somewhere here or something like that that would say optimized for auto. You know what I mean? It's optimized for the stacking, the that type of thing. So when you see a label like that, like how you see like hip hop music or something like that, where you see a parental advisory, you know it's going to be like, if you see that label, it's going to be swearing and all that. A label like that would let you know auto coupling, like optimized for auto coupling or something like that, will let you know that the pressings on these vinyls, you know, they're 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. They're not normal. Now, I don't know if that works, and if they ever did it, I don't think so, because this one didn't have it. And if there was ever a time when record companies had like 2 versions of this, like, you know, they would probably have to make 2, right? Something like one that's 1 and 4, 2 and 3, that's auto coupling optimized, and the other one's just regular. I don't know if they do that as well. Probably not. They just did it just for doing it. But here's the thing with my pet peeve. The whole point of the 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 was done specifically for playing on an auto coupling machine, okay? For that stacking machine. There's no other, if you had a non-auto coupling, just a standard, like most people, I'm assuming, would have a standard turntable without the stacker. This 1, 4, 2, and 3 is really useless, first of all, right? And for me, it's an annoyance too, because the way I handle my records, I don't, you know, it's more of a pain, right? Not just flipping, but now I got to take it out, put it in, things like that in the sleeve. Yeah, I know I'm being anal and all that, but again, I take care of my stuff. So, but having the technology of the auto coupling stacker, to me, which is gimmicky at best. Yeah, it does serve a purpose, but in the long term, it's really a gimmick that at the end of the day may damage your vinyl. I still think it can, just by the looks of how it works and operates. Forcing a technology, a gimmicky technology like that, to how you press your actual LPs is a big no-no to me. I mean, that's to me, you never ever do that, okay? Because again, I don't know why. Maybe at the time they were super popular. I don't know, but I've never seen an auto coupler turntable. I never even knew of one until I had to Google it, and that's when I saw it. And even then, if you go to YouTube and things like that, or try to find anything like that for sale online, if you can find used ones, you can't. Just hardly any, first of all. Second of all, the new manufacturers don't make them. I just did not see anything that do an auto stacker like that. So back then, forcing the way you press just for some very niche, gimmicky technology, kind of ruins the album itself long term, right? I don't know if record companies or people who saw this foresaw this, or maybe they don't care. I don't know, but because at the end of the day, to them it might be, hey, we still give you the album, but all the sides are wonky, unordered, misordered. Put it this way, it to me kind of ruins somewhat the experience of playing the actual album because of all this extra crap you got to do without having that actual auto coupling machine. And that's basically my pet peeve. Now I seen having understanding what this stacking thing was. I try to look for anything that does a flip. The first thing that I did see, I noticed, was Sharp. The manufacturer Sharp made a turntable. I think it was called Direct Linear something, but it was a turntable that basically acted like a duplex laser disc player. I don't know if you remember laser discs. They came a bit after record players, but they were somewhat popular growing up for me as a kid. There's like the latest technology at the end of the day, and the laser discs are basically records, but for movies, right? And this is pre-DVD, and they have both sides. You got to flip it, right? Side one, side two, and then they have movies where they have multiple discs that you got to do the same, basically the same thing as a record. But the more expensive machines would have this auto flip feature. I don't know if that's the term, but what it would do was with the laser underneath that's being, playing the bottom part of the movie of the disc itself. When it's done with that side, it would move the laser to the top and then spin the thing appropriately and then play from the top so that it flips, but it doesn't physically flip the disc, it just flips the laser. Now, the Sharp record player I was talking about basically does the same thing. It plays at the top like your normal player, and then when it gets to the end, and it's kind of linear too, it's kind of interesting look to it, that then the size, cartridge, everything would kind of turn around underneath, and you see it disappear. It's totally gone. And it's assumably playing underneath the record too. Now, a couple things with that. I don't think I actually seen it work. Number one. Number two, it seems like that particular flipping of the cartridge and the stylus, the entire thing by the that Sharp record player, it's part of a kind of like a small rack system, a very small one. It has 2 tape decks and a receiver. So basically a small shelf system and 2 like ugly looking speakers. But they made that. It actually does work. I seen it like from a mechanical standpoint, but I never actually seen it play a record and hear it. But they made that. That's pretty interesting. Now, I think the reason why it's in that rack system is because the way that needle and the mechanism works can't be really done on a regular like turntable. You need to have space underneath, and especially when it goes underneath, right? You don't have gravity to push down the needle naturally on the record itself, and then go through the grooves. It's going underneath now. So with that, you're going to have some kind of mechanism that pushes the needle appropriately with the right amount of pressure and all that, so that it can play underneath. And that to me is that's going to be pretty complicated, because again, you don't have gravity to do anything, because it has to be physically touched, right? And you got to apply the right pressure so that it doesn't go too hard on it and like rip your grooves even more, things like that. It seems pretty complex, and I think that's why that was built only for a rack system where they have some space to do so. If you put it on a regular turntable, that's kind of hard to do. But so that got me thinking: did they ever make turntables that physically flip the actual LP, the record itself. And Googling around a little bit, I hear comments that there were, but I've never seen them, or they can't really explain to me what they were. Outside of one explanation, there's supposedly like a bigger system where there's two turntables, almost like a DJ style, and then they would, I don't know, one go in here, pick it up, and then I don't know. I never seen like it physically, or I mean, seen it work or actually seen the machine. But there might be something like that. But what I really was getting at was just one turntable that actually can flip it. Now, if there wasn't one, you know, I was thinking if you had to make one, how you would do it. And to me, you would have two, basically kind of like a lift. Like, you know how you go to get an oil change? The typical oil change they would lift your car up. You would have two, like, where'd it go? You know, those things that lift your car up. A lot of oil changes these days, they have a basement, so they don't even lift your car. They just kind of go underneath and then just work on there. But you know what I'm talking about. There's going to be a lift on both ends near the actual turntable, and there will be two clamps. And then let's say you need a flip, the clamp would kind of clamp on the edge of the vinyl, and then kind of slowly lift it up to a height where, you know, the diameter of the LP, maybe a little more obviously to give it space, and then attached to those clamps would be like a rotary wheel or something where it can, you know, can go 360, so it would flip, and then when it's done, it just kind of slowly comes back down and drops it, right? Not dropping it like the auto coupling stacker. They really just let it drop. I'm talking about you slowly, like you would delift the car. When you finish your oil change or fixing, you would slowly bring your car back down. Same thing. You would slowly bring the record down. And I don't think anyone's done that. And if someone was supposed to do something like this, it would have happened a long time ago. And especially when LPs were the thing in the 60s, 70s, someone would have thought of something like that. I'm pretty sure. I guess it's just too much effort and too much money because there's going to be a lot of moving parts. Right? You got to lift the thing, rotate it, and bring it down. There's a lot of mechanical moving parts to it that is just going to be really costly. I can see that. I think that's the biggest thing for an auto flip of a record. But, you know, I'm thinking I'd rather have that and spend a little more money than on an auto coupler if this was able to be invented back then. And then just play records like normal and just flip it rather than doing something like the auto coupler and enforcing the record labels to press your records to be in weird order of 1 4 2 3 or 1 6 2 5, things like that. Just weird order. And then you can just press your records like normal, consistent with everyone else, like a single, double, triple album, whatever. And it works for both people who don't have this flip and who do have the flip. It's consistent. So, I don't know. If anyone takes my idea, just let me know and just we'll talk about it. Anyway, so I just wanted to discuss my pet peeve on this auto coupling technology that force record labels to press their records differently because of this gimmicky technology. And it's a shame that the record labels that did, like this Chuck Mangione one, did it that way. Again, I mean, at the end of the day, I get it. You still have the entire album, the songs in the order they're supposed to be if you put in the order. But from a physical record thing, ordering, it's not intuitive at all. And these days, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, that type of ordering is useless because no one even how popular records are coming back, and they're pretty popular now. No one has that type of player, and even if they were able to procure it, I don't know if anyone would want to use it and have it drop records like that all the time. I don't know. It doesn't seem something that is worthwhile. So anyway, let me know what you think. If you experienced, or even if you had an auto coupling record player, I don't know. Was it worthwhile? Did it damage your records or something when it continues play? Was it even worth it? I don't know. It just seems like a gimmicky thing that kind of forced record companies to press the wrong way on their records. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. All right, let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.